Hey guys, and welcome back to the Let's Talk Parenting podcast. We're so excited that you joined us today. Today's going to be an awesome episode. We are talking about new parenting and all the things that come along with it. Those first birth to 3-year-old years are something. They're crazy. They're amazing. They're all the things, and it's such a transition. And so today is going to be an awesome episode about that. And so I have some special guests with me. They're my friends and they are parents, and we can't wait for you to tell us about yourselves. And so Leah, can you tell us about yourself?
Yeah. So my name is Leah Gothrop. My husband's on staff here. He is with the young adults. I'm a mama of a 3-year-old, and then we are raising my 12-year-old cousin, who is a precious little girl. That's about like the gist. I mean, that takes over most of your life. I'm also a teacher.
Awesome. And then we have another guest, Sethy.
What's
I
good?
call him Sethy.
My name is Seth. I have, I think, an 18-month-old. Is that right, Lauren?
That's
Somewhere
right.
down there. I'm on staff here at First Moss Bluff as a worship pastor, and I just have that one child, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. And you have a dog.
I don't know if I claim that one.
He's
It's
a
not
dog.
your
Lauren
Set.
gave me, well, I should say this. I adopted Lauren's dog
That's
Aw.
right. It's true. That's a true statement.
I'm glad it's still in the fam.
That's right.
because she didn't want it.
It's okay. It's okay. Better home, you know?
Yeah.
And now your daughter calls him, what, Bubba?
That's correct.
So look how precious. Awesome. So Leah, as a new parent, you said you have a 3-year-old. And so can you talk a little bit, the transition from no kids to having a child is something, right? And so can you talk about that first transition from going from not having kids to having kids?
Okay. So the first transition going from 0 to 1, I would say was easier than 1 to 2.
Okay. Yeah.
Which, I mean, so parents of like younger kids probably would roll their eyes at that, but we haven't experienced having a second baby in the house yet. But 0 to 1, I mean, the biggest challenge was knowing that like you couldn't just up and go anywhere. Like you have to pack the bag, you have to worry about schedules, you have to worry about nap times and feedings, and that was the biggest hurdle. I mean, as far as like actual parenting at that point.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. You agree with that, Seth?
Yes. I mean, if I had to give like a large picture answer, it would just be that everything becomes more complicated, and a lot less of it is about the freedoms that you used to have. Yeah. And so like all encompassing of not just going places, but, relationships get more complicated with family members and friends and all of that. And so I would say just the whole overarching umbrella that everything gets different in a good way in most cases, but just different and more complicated.
Yeah, more complicated for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. And even like the tired. So as a mom, I knew like as a person working in children's ministry for so long, like I knew I had helped moms with the night shift and all that. And I knew it was going to be tired, and everybody talked about you're going to be tired. But for me, it was like the mental tired of like, you are literally now responsible for this human being forever. Yeah. And like, I'm tired physically, sure, but like mentally, like, okay, I have to know when. For me, I have I have one kid. So when does he need to eat? Okay. What is his rhythm? What does he do? Does he sleep? Does he not? And all of that was even more for me a transition than the actual like tired of being just tired because he didn't sleep.
Just that like mental,
and
then constantly planning, constantly thinking about what could we possibly need. Just think about like when you pack for a vacation.
Yes.
It's like you're packing the entire house.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that kind of stress.
Yes, I know. Whew, everything changes. So you had a pretty intense, I would call it, is an interesting word, labor and delivery, and then stay in the NICU. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I'd say I top anybody when they're like, oh, I was in labor for like X amount of hours. I'm like, it was 10 days, which honestly, like maybe it wasn't active labor for 10 days, but I went into labor at 28 weeks, delivered him at 30. And that whole time we were just trying to stop labor. So it was a scary time. But he ended up, I mean, I'll spoil the ending, is that like he's completely fine.
Yes.
But it was definitely a brutal entry into parenting. And I mean, it's been 3 years and I'm just now getting to the point that I'm like, okay, I think I could probably do that again, because it was tough.
Yes. And he stayed, how long did he stay?
He was in the NICU for 50 days, which Seth's wife, Danny, actually ended up being one of his nurses.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And you know what's a cool thing is that right before I went into labor, which my doctor had just said, like, oh, you have a textbook pregnancy. Like, everything's going perfectly. So we didn't expect it at all. I had told Danny at church, I was like, I'm 28 weeks now. And she was like, oh, you're good. Like, I didn't even ask if I was good. She was
So
like,
it was Danny's fault.
oh, you're
What?
good. No. I honestly, she felt so bad too. Later on, she was like, I'm so sorry I said that. But it gave me so much peace that she was like, we have babies that are smaller than that
That's
all
what
the
I was
time.
about to say.
Yes.
She was probably thinking in her mind, oh, 28 weeks, even if something does go
Yes.
wrong,
Yeah.
like we've seen
So when
23,
I did,
24 weekers.
Which is
Yeah.
in that stage is so much different. Like just
Oh,
from a
yeah,
couple
every
weeks.
day.
Day to
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
So like when we were in the hospital, the doctor would come in, like the neonatologist, and he was like, okay, if he's born today, these are the complications that he will have. Like made it sound like it was an assurance, like all of these defects, mental defects, physical defects, and he's perfect.
Yes.
Like, I mean, the goal was to keep him in this day and then the next day, keep him in that day, like just every minute counted. But it was definitely a surrender of, we don't know how he's going to be. At the time, what's the song? It's Gratitude by Brandon Lake had just come out. And there's a line in the song that was like, every song must end, but you never do. And that, I mean, everyone can take on a different meaning for that line. But for me at the time, it was like, okay, this pregnancy will end at some point. I mean, guaranteed it's going to end. He's either going to be born or something wrong might happen. But God's still going to be good. And then our expectations for him, I mean, as the doctor's listing off all of these things that could have been wrong, those could end. I mean, like he might not be a pro football player. I mean, he's probably not going to be.
Yeah.
But like everything that we had planned in our minds was going to end, but God was still going to be good. So we had to make that kind of conscious decision while we were in the waiting that he's still going to be good.
Yeah.
And I mean, praise God, he's great. But you know.
Yeah, I can remember being at your baby shower.
Yeah.
And we back then, was it live? It was live.
It was a live stream,
And it was
yeah.
a live stream. And Liam, we had put it on
the screens in the lobby. We were able to watch him.
Yes. And it was so sad, but so sweet at the same time. Like we're celebrating Leah. She's opening her little gifts. And like Liam was in the NICU and we were watching him on the screen.
And the
like,
nurses were amazing.
so
they would
precious.
like write his notes like,
Yes.
we miss you, mommy. And like hold it on top.
Yeah. It's so sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's so great. Well, so you said a little bit about kind of having to choose to surrender. So Seth, have you experienced that in any way? I know your story with
Sure.
Lindley and Danny was completely different.
Yeah.
But have you had to learn how to surrender your own, walk with Jesus in parenting?
Yeah, absolutely. And so our experience was totally textbook, normal, healthy, great. And so nothing from the like the health scare or anything from that side of things went wrong. I would say the greatest level of surrender was just understanding like what my role was as a dad and as a parent, as a husband, while still continuing like life, like working a job and like just understanding how things just were supposed to shift in my perspective. And that's something that like I'm even still trying to wrap my head around as I get older, as Lindley gets older. But just the perspective shift of like my role literally is as a dad and as a husband to sacrifice everything else with the exception of my walk with Jesus for these other two people. And like when you think about that, if you go to church and you've read the Ephesians 5 passage where it talks about husbands laying down their life for their wives, just as Jesus laid down his life for the church, you're like, you're like, yeah, nodding your head, like, yep, that's a good passage. That sounds good. I want to do that. But it is a whole different reality when it comes time to walk it.
Oh yeah.
And so just learning that and like continuous, like in I guess because it changes, like it changes when, Danny's pregnant from when the baby's born, and then it changes like 6 months later. And then, it seems like every day there's another adjustment that I have to make, or maybe another realization in which, hey, you have been slacking in what God has called you to be.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say to that.
Yeah. And when you're tired too. So I think for me and Adam, my husband, whenever we had crew, it was like everybody talks about the mom. Everybody talks about how tired the mom's going to be, how you're recovering, even if you have a natural birth or a C-section, whatever. Like everybody talks about the mom. But like your life, the husband's life, the dad's life is flipped upside down too.
If he's a good one.
If he's a good one, which you are, and ours are.
Ours are good.
And so that you have to do all that, and you have to choose that while you're still dealing with a complete new transition. Right. Also not sleeping because you want to be up. You're trying to help. You're trying to figure out, which is also hard in itself, Yeah. And I know that was hard for Adam, was right. Okay, I'm trying to, like you said, I'm trying to be a good dad. I'm trying to be a good husband. I'm trying to follow Jesus. I'm tired. I don't know what to do, right. But I'm trying.
So you mentioned the song Gratitude, and like, not that song is specifically something that spoke to me, but just having an understanding of not just embracing the role, but embracing the joy that comes with having a child. Not that I did that all of the time, but if and when I could think about how awesome this actually is, and the Bible talks about that. It talks about like children being a blessing. If I was able to mentally get to that point, those were the only times that I could say, all right, I'm really tired, or I'm really having to give up some things, but this is so worth it. And so if I'm only thinking about like what I'm missing out on, i.e. sleep, having fun, doing hobbies, doing whatever I want to do, or like not having as many chores. If I'm only thinking about what I'm missing out on, you completely miss like the joy and the blessing of all of that.
There's like no greater example of servanthood than like being a parent or being a spouse. Like you have you really have to die to self in every way, in both categories.
Yes, for sure.
And there's a reason that in Scripture, Jesus and the church is articulated in that relationship, in a marriage relationship, the bride and the groom, and that God is our heavenly Father. So like, take all of that in, that like we are practicing the relationship that the Lord has shown His love to us,
and only He can do it perfectly.
Correct.
So we're gonna mess up at some point.
Yes, exactly. No, for sure. And then practically, how can we choose? So you kind of use the word choose, and I agree. I think it's a choice to choose to do what Seth is saying and what we're kind of talking about with literally choosing to find the joy. So do you have any practical things that you did, like even maybe while he was in the NICU, or even when he came home? I know that he was on a good sleep routine from the NICU. You talk about that a lot.
So well.
And that's great for you. But what kind of practical things did you do to stay close to Jesus during that time? Because it's hard to. It really is hard to, because your world, it's a whirlwind.
So I mean, even as a teacher, when I'm out of school, my routine gets flipped around, like when my quiet time is, because I'm not waking up at the same time. So having a baby that's waking you up every like 2-3 hours, your whole routine's off. So it might not be necessarily, this might not be the best examples, but like you might not be in the word, but speaking it over your child. I would talk to Liam as if he understood what I was saying. Like I remember in the NICU, he was still there for Easter. So I was holding this little like 4-pound baby, explaining to him the entire Easter story. And he was locked in. Like he was looking at me and listening to the whole thing. And I mean, I try to talk to him as if he understands it, because like it's all truth. So of course, trying to explain it in terms that a little one can understand, but just continually sharing truth with him. And I mean, it's speaking it over yourself too.
Yes. Yeah. I know for me, I have a lot of friends that dealt with postpartum depression. And a lot of times it was at night when the whole world's asleep, it's dark, and you wake up for that feeding. So for me, from the very beginning, I literally told Adam, my husband, I said, I'm going to pray over him every night feeding. And I'm gonna be tired. It may be a 2-second prayer, but like, I'm gonna be intentional about that. And I was actually like looking at stuff for this podcast, and I have it in my notes, and like, it literally says like April 17th, and it says like 2:59 a.m. And it says like, I pray for crew to come to know you at an early age. And then the next day it's like,
did you document them all?
I did. And
that's gonna be so cool to see them like come to fruition.
I know. I want to get like a book made or something for later. And I only have like 2 months because my child slept. Praise Jesus. Yes. That's not my story that he never slept. I'm so sorry for most parents, but I did do that. But that helped my perspective, like you were saying earlier, because it is miserable. I mean, you are tired. And so for me, I changed my perspective of like, honestly, I looked forward to it in some ways because I got to like be just with him. Like I was like, just go to sleep, Adam. Like, I'll have to be up anyways. Like I'll take this shift. Like, and I would just pray for him. I'd write it in my notes. And that really helped me to change my perspective. Because you're right. Like, I wasn't in the word every day. Like, I just wasn't, but I was intentional about the time that I could spend with Jesus and crew. Yeah,
that's really good. I mean, anything regular like that. And like, there were times where I didn't do that. And so like when Danny went back to work, I had to step up, and she works 12-hour shifts. And so like when she would work, like the night shifts immediately became mine.
Your shifts, yeah.
And so there was some moments where I didn't have the perspective right, like you're saying, and like I caught myself, getting angry, frustrated, bitter, like, just swallowed up in just straight negative thinking, And so I would agree with you. Like that's a really good practice. I didn't do that. And if anybody's listening, like get it in your rhythm in advance.
Yes.
to plan to do something like that to control your thoughts and your temptations.
I think even I did deal with some like anxiousness after he was born, and I was talking to my doctor about it, and he said like, hey, when you're up at night feeding him, are you on your phone? Like, are you scrolling? Well, I have to try to stay awake. So yeah. But it's like, please try to be intentional about not being on your phone at night. So a lot of it for me, it was like shifting to, he's only going to be this little for a little while. So trying to like memorize his little features. And of course you do have to try to stay awake.
Yes.
So doing what you can in that way, but getting off of your phone helps too.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause it's so easy. It's easy to think like they're little, they don't know what you're doing, and they don't. But yeah, it goes so fast. Like you have a 3-year-old, I have a 2-year-old, 18 months. Like I don't know about for all of y'all, or for all of us, but for me personally, it just flew by. Like Crew's about to start school, and it's crazy because like I feel like I was just doing the newborn thing, and it does go so fast. You were saying that transitions just happen constantly. And so I think there is, I would always kind of be like, when I was in the moment, all the cliche things of like cherish the moment and enjoy it, but it really is true, because it really does go fast. And so if we can kind of choose to enjoy the moments, it might help our perspective.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so as we kind of come to a close, is there anything that we could, encourage people with whenever it comes to new parenting? It could be, even down to like toddler parents. Toddler in itself is an interesting, you're getting there.
Yeah.
It's an interesting 2-year-old.
We're knocking on the door.
Around. She's still toddling.
Yeah, it is something. And so is there anything that you would want to say to encourage them, not only to just be intentional with their children, because that's so important, but also to stay close to Jesus? Because I think that's the difference in when parents just go crazy in some ways, because it's like, it is crazy. It is.
Okay, so a couple of things. Give yourself some grace, because I think I started off the podcast saying like we can't mess up. Like you got to keep the kid alive, but you're going to mess up. And even with our 12-year-old that we're raising, I tell her all the time, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm doing the best that I can, and I'm going to mess up, and you're going to be in counseling because of me one day, but I'm doing the best that I can. So that's all we're doing with our little ones. And then also, I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think it's good to be able to tell them too, like, hey, sorry. Even like with Crew, if we do something, we try to say like, I'm sorry, Crew. Mommy was irritated. You know, even he don't know what that means, and he don't care. But you know,
that's good. I think my encouragement, and I could probably think of some other ones, but I would say one that was really important for us was other relationships. The temptation is to just like buckle down and like just stay home all the time and just make it to the end of the day. And even on those early days, like obviously, you know, cherish the moments with your child, and like don't do anything stupid and put them in situations where they don't need to be in with large crowds or whatever when they're young. That's not what I'm saying, but getting back into community was super, 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 super important for us. And like not just community with our small group, but like also like my family.
Yeah.
And Danny's family as well. That has been really cool to see over the last 18 months, how the relationships of these other people that also love my child, that not just gives me a sense of confidence, but a sense of comfort to know that like I'm not doing this by myself. And if you don't have those relationships, work to find healthy, God-fearing, God-loving relationships that can love you, but also love your child while you're trying to go through this really tough season. And, you know, I think there's a trend in parenting right now that is like these parents that are super, super, super protective of their child, so much so that it distances them from the rest of their world, and maybe even other people that also love them and the child. And so to me, obviously, like there's certain scenarios where, you know, healthy, I'm not negating boundaries, healthy boundaries, but man, if you lose your sense of community and you're doing all this by yourself, it could get really tough really quick.
I'd say even with a like sickly child, like, I mean, Liam was fresh out of the NICU, and he had a little sign on his carrier that said like, don't touch me, your germs are too big for me. And people would try to. I got some ugly looks for it. But I mean, you have to protect your child, but also I was protecting myself by still showing up, because if you shut yourself in, which that actually was my other point, if you shut yourself in, like that's when that like postpartum depression was going to hit you, because we are made to be in community. And there are other mamas who have gone through the same thing, other dads who have gone through the same thing. And like you have to continue to show up. And it is hard to wake up early after you were waking up so many times in the night. You still have to show up.
The temptation is like, man, nobody else has ever done this. And like you look around and like the world has however many billion people, like everyone went through this that has a child. So,
that was mine. Mine was like
nobody's ever done this before. I'm the only one. I'm the only one that's experiencing this right now. Not true.
Yeah, and that was my one thing, is like ask for help and allow people to help you. Yeah. Because it's so easy not to. And I think as moms, I can speak for moms, it's so easy to get into the habit and the mindset of, well, this is my child and I'm supposed to do this, and I'm supposed to. It's so prideful. And it's like, I know from my personal preference, like I literally would love to go hold Lindley.
Right.
Like y'all go take a nap. You leave me with that baby. And I would love that. And so if I can do that for other people, why can't people do it for me?
Yeah.
And so that's my advice, is like, ask for help, let them help you, and just sit and relax and enjoy community while other people are loving on your baby, you know? And so this has been a great conversation. Thank y'all for joining us.
Heck yeah.
And thank you for joining us on the Let's Talk Parenting podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. And if you liked it, you can comment, you can subscribe, and join us again for our next episode. And we'll see you later.